Butch Cassidy, born Robert LeRoy Parker on April 13, 1866, in Beaver, Utah, was one of the most famous outlaws of the American West. He is best known for leading the Wild Bunch, a notorious gang of bank and train robbers. Cassidy's charm, intelligence, and ability to evade the law made him a legendary figure in the history of the Old West. Cassidy was the oldest of 13 children in a Mormon family. His parents were British immigrants, and they struggled financially. As a young man, he worked as a ranch hand and was introduced to the world of crime by Mike Cassidy, a cattle rustler and horse thief. Robert took the surname Cassidy in honor of his mentor, and the name Butch likely came from a brief stint working as a butcher. Butch Cassidy's criminal career began with petty thefts, but he soon graduated to more serious crimes. His first major robbery occurred in 1889 when he and some accomplices held up a bank in Telluride, Colorado, making off with $20,000. This marked the start of his life as a professional outlaw. In the mid-1890s, Cassidy formed the Wild Bunch, a gang of criminals that included famous outlaws like Harry Longabaugh, better known as the Sundance Kid, and Elzie Lay. The gang became known for their meticulous planning and the relatively non-violent nature of their heists, though some of their robberies did involve shootouts. The Wild Bunch pulled off a series of high-profile bank and train robberies throughout the West, amassing a reputation for their daring exploits. Some of their most famous heists include 1899 Wilcox train robbery. The gang held up a Union Pacific train near Wilcox, Wyoming, making off with around $50,000 in cash and valuables. This robbery cemented Cassidy's fame and drew intense law enforcement attention. 1900 Winnemucca bank robbery. The Wild Bunch robbed a bank in Winnemucca, Nevada, escaping with $32,640. This robbery further established them as one of the most successful outlaw gangs of the time. The Wild Bunch would famously pose for photographs, which later became iconic images of the Old West. These photos also helped law enforcement identify and track the gang members. By the early 1900s, law enforcement, including the famous Pinkerton National Detective Agency, was closing in on Cassidy and his gang. To avoid capture, Cassidy and the Sundance Kid fled to South America in 1901, along with Sundance's girlfriend, Etta Place. The trio hoped to start a new life, free from the law's reach. They initially settled in Argentina, where they purchased a ranch. However, their past eventually caught up with them, and they returned to a life of crime, robbing banks in Bolivia and Chile. The circumstances of Butch Cassidy's death are shrouded in mystery. According to popular accounts, he and the Sundance Kid were cornered by the Bolivian military in a small town in 1908 after a failed payroll robbery. It is believed that they died in a shootout, with some reports suggesting that Cassidy shot the wounded Sundance before taking his own life. However, no conclusive evidence has ever confirmed their deaths, and rumors persisted that Cassidy may have survived and returned to the United States under a new identity.